Okay, we are about to spit the state of coffee. Okay, I believe double wash, double fermented. It's more nutty. It's chocolatey. It's just loud in your mouth and it doesn't really say anything. I've been chasing that. Will I buy this coffee again? Hey everybody, I hope all is well. I wanted to kind of do something a little bit different with the videos. Let me know what you think about it. But this is a visual audio, or this is a video podcast, so to speak. And I think from time to time I'll bring different things on this table to talk about. I thought it would be fitting actually to actually have a visual of what I'm trying to do. So, as you can see right now, what we have is two coffees. This one right here is the Kenyan coffee that I've been trying to play around with, trying to get the best taste out of. And then this one right here is my Brazilian Oberon. This is one of the best coffees, best sellers that I usually give to people, or people buy it. Or when people want to sample, this is what I usually give them. But the reason why I have these two contrasty coffees on here, mainly so much in the price and also in the taste, is because I want to talk about what I feel is the state of coffee as it is right now in 2024. This Kenyan is I believe, double wash, double fermented last year. It has different flavors of peaches and lemon lime, and then a little bit of chocolate type of taste on it. And then right here, what we have is a Brazilian coffee, natural process, typical type of Brazilian, Central South American type of coffee profile. It's more nutty. It's chocolatey. My biggest things that I'm noticing with coffees is I'm always trying to chase the excellence of coffee. And a lot of times, what I realize with these coffees lately, the past 3 or 4 years, is that they are they're not like what they were 7 to 8 years ago. The reason why is because the flavors are a lot more pronounced. It wasn't so much one dimensional in its acidity level, which is very high. And it was really saying something. You know, a lot of times when people talk about complexity, to me, I always laugh about that word, is that when somebody says complexity, that means that they can't really describe what that coffee is. And one of my gold standards of like outstanding coffees to me, which is a very high bar, is that, and this coffee is actually a little bit better as a light roast to me, which more so that's not so much my cup of tea anymore now. We'll talk about that later in future episodes. And as a medium roast, it's just okay. If you roast it too fast, it gets a little bit more acidic in the cup, in the mind, and all that stuff. When you roast it long, the flavors are there, but they're not as punchy as I would like them to be. And for the most part, the coffee is what it is. But this Brazilian Oberon coffee, which isn't my favorite coffee, it is the most dependable coffee. It's what people normally drink when they're drinking coffee. So that's what they go to. They don't really care so much about the high acidity level as this Kenyan coffee has presented me in the past couple of weeks. And it's almost like every time I go about trying to taste it or craft it in so many different ways, that it's getting more disappointing. Like the coffee was more approachable, better when it was like 5 or 6 days after roast, but now it's 2 weeks, and I'm not seeing that big of a difference. Of actually, to me, it's gone down. So I bring that up to say that it's not so much beating up on this particular Kenyan coffee. It's been like this for a while for me. There has been a coffee a couple of years ago. It was a Costa Rican It was a black honey. It was delicious. It was so amazing. You can actually taste the sweetness with the nice calming acidity into the coffee. I will source it out um, when that time comes, you know. And I do actually have another coffee that I hope that it brings that awesomeness of coffee. And again, like I said, my high standards of spectacular coffee is that it's good when it's light roast, medium roast, and dark roast. And as it cools down, it gets better. So trust me, that's more so like a unicorn. And I've been chasing that. I get a sense of despair, a sense of confusion. Like, for instance, I went to Vancouver many months ago, and a friend wanted me to walk around and do all that good stuff to see the coffee scene in downtown Vancouver. And it was cool. It was cool to go around. But, after a while, not just my opinion, it was my brother's and my friends' opinion about those particular coffees is that no matter what they said about the notes, it really didn't come out that way. They all really tasted the same. High acidity. Either the acidity lingers for a little bit, as you would get more so from a grapefruit, or it's just loud in your mouth and it doesn't really say anything. So, and that's the funny thing about this. A lot of times when I'm analyzing coffee, it's coming from a black coffee as pure as the form the coffee is. So a lot of times, as much as I'm beating it up as I am about saying this coffee is this way compared to this other coffee, I'm drinking it black. And there's a lot of people in the world that don't do that, and that's perfectly fine. So a lot of times as I'm going about telling you about how awesome or not awesome this coffee is, when you drink it either black or with additives or whatnot, it may actually be perfectly fine for you. Well, let me ask you this. Would you actually pay double of what this coffee is? That's really where it comes down to. You may prefer this one. Let's say you actually do prefer the Kenyan coffee. Would you actually pay double the cost for, let's say, just a little bit more better than what this Brazilian presents? Don't get me wrong, this Brazilian coffee right here, it's good with creamer. It's awesome from time to time. If you haven't had it in a while, you drink it black. But it will please more people than this Kenyan coffee all day long. And it's relatively cheaper. And that's what I mean by the state of coffee. Me being a coffee roaster, I have to look at that. Like, I can have fun all I want by getting a small portion of this coffee for myself, and then also just share what I think about this coffee to you guys. But will I pay for a whole big bag of this coffee in hope to God that I can sell it enough or market it enough to you to where you will get that same excitement? I don't want to bullshit you. I don't want to tell you something that is true, but you probably don't get that nostalgia or that feeling of what I'm telling you this coffee is. But again, I think a lot of times when we play these games of what's better and what's not better, we tend to lose sight on to the actual application that we're using this coffee. So that's where I'm at right now. This was a nice try to get me to try to analyze it different ways, drink it different ways. Will I buy this coffee again? No. Disappointed that I keep trying to chase this mythical coffee that I used to have before. No, I'm not disappointed because that's, I think, the fun part of this coffee journey. You're never always going to be happy with the beverage that you drink each and every day. There's something about it that's going to bring you up or excite you or whatnot. And for the most part, 80% of the time, this will get your job done most of the time. This Brazilian Oberon coffee smells great. I can roast this one light, medium, and dark. There's not that much variations, especially in the light and medium roast. But as a dark roast, it comes live a lot better. As an espresso, it's more chocolatey, type of coffee taste. And that's what people want. They want a low acidic coffee. They want a coffee that's not too acidic, as I said. They want something that gets them happy and gets them moving through the day. This coffee right here, I wouldn't say this is more so that like a evening coffee, like if you just want something different, or you want to play around with the AeroPress or whatnot, just to see if you can get something different and unique out of that coffee. But that's what this is, right? This is what this coffee does for you. So if you want this coffee, go for it. If you want to see to test your taste buds, go for it. I'm not saying don't do it, but to me, in a position that I'm in right now, I'm more disappointed in this than what this gives me each and every day. I'm willing to try it for a bag or two, but this is not going to be like my cup of tea or cup of coffee, so to speak, on a daily basis. This is more so if I do decide to drink this coffee, it's going to be on a weekend where I can relax and just try to understand what I'm tasting, But this this coffee right here, or a South American coffee that's not trying to impress all the time. It's impressive because it talks to more people. And that's what I'm talking about here. You have two different personalities here. You got a loudmouth that wants to let you know how awesome they are. And then you got this person right here that's cool. And you don't know that until you get to know them a little bit more. So that's kind of like the way I look at coffees a lot. I treat them like people, personalities, and this is the one I will pick all the time. And like I said, the state of coffee is what it is, right? And you may not feel that way because you just get what you get all the time. But one thing that I've noticed coming in from a roaster's point of view is that they're trying to do so many different things out there to like double ferment and double washed and whatever type of way to go about presenting that coffee in its best light. Think about that. If you're going to have to do a lot of things to the pure form of that coffee, what does it taste like without doing all that stuff? Is it good? Is it good at its base, at its core? So that's what I'm really getting at right here. It's not even good at its core, because if it was, then that's what you would be presenting me. I'm not saying that you don't do these over processed type of things, but it's something that I think about, especially now that I'm talking about it out into the world, is that if somebody has to over process something, what are they really hiding? Or really, what are they saying about the producing of that coffee? How's the soil actually? Do they have issues with insects and bugs and disease and the climate and all that stuff and not having enough workers? I don't know. But to me, when you sell something, you have to try to get a return on it. And if you have to do a lot of things in order to tell people that this thing is awesome, and it's really not, then what are we really talking about here? Are we finding something that is actually an issue, and we're just trying to sell it to other people in a way to where hopefully they will see and get that perspective of that coffee? And again, I'm not just beating up on the people that I usually get this coffee from. I'm not going to tell you who they are, because I buy their coffee all the time. is one of the top rated coffees that I usually get, you know. But again, like I said, I taste different coffees all around the world, on different parts of the country and whatnot and all that stuff. So when I go to coffee shops, when I have that coffee from that other roaster or that cafe, I can judge or taste what I'm tasting, and it's like that for me throughout, no matter what. And I don't know if I'm just being too particular of like what I like in coffee, but I want you to challenge yourself in that too. You know, you let me know what you think about coffee and what you like about it, and the things that you may not have thought about in this conversation that I'm having right now. So that's what I got right now. So this is the first one. I hope it went well. I will hopefully get better. I should get better. And this is Everyday Beans signing off. So talk to you later. Bye.